Okay, so we're live. You guys tell me, this looks terrible because it's so low. How was that? No? Okay, guys, so here's what we're gonna do. I just went live. Can one of you get off and then go to my YouTube? So it's YouTube. Let me type this in. Typing it in. We're gonna troubleshoot this. I will give you my full time, I promise. Okay, so I just put youtube.com/BJ Gaddour. Go to that, that's my channel. And then do me a favor and ask a question from the app. Matthew Salle, what's up, man? So he said, looks like you guys can see me. All right, so I just got a comment. But why does it disappear? Live chat. What's good, Matthew? No, we're good. Let me just do that. You know what? I'm going to have to go. Switzerland, what's up, man? More ways? Hopefully I'm saying it right. All right, so we are on X out of this and go over to my channel. I'm doing it live on another format. But now I'm actually seeing comments coming through. End stream. Sorry, guys. And then I'm gonna have to go here to, all right, guys, so we'll take questions. I'm just letting people populate in. We're switching over from the computer to the phone. I don't know why it does that. Okay. Robert, what's up, buddy? Chris, Warren, I'm gonna try to move to, this is not, why are you, guys, I swear I'm not as special as I look. Okay, there we go. All right, beautiful. So I got questions sent in, and I will take them live first. Let me just actually see. Live chat, okay. What's good, Michael? All right, I can see it all now. Very good. Very good. What I was saying earlier is Fresca. This is not sponsored by Fresca, by the way, but one of the crispest beverages. So you have questions, guys? I'm here for you. You can't hear me? You guys can hear me, right? So YouTube is forcing me to go horizontal, which means I have to be this far back so you can see me. But then I have to reach. There's got to be a better way. Okay, you guys can hear me, good. Nutrient timing. We'll go with North Bear Fragua. You know what? My name's unique too, so we'll go with that. I like that. North Bear. So nutrient timing is something that is probably not very important, especially when we're talking around your workouts for non-elite athletes or people that aren't trying to max out or squeeze out the last little bit of the genetic potential when it comes to muscle building. As long as you, like, coming up, like I grew up, supplements in the 90s, 2000s, we really got pushed this whole concept of timing. You know, you got to get X number of nutrients or protein carbohydrate mix before and or after your workout. But ultimately, the latest research on that is pretty conclusive in the sense that as long as you have about 30 to 40 grams of protein within an hour or two of your exercise, it doesn't really matter about having it immediately after the workout, as long as you get it in within an hour or two of finishing the workout. So the issue becomes, like, if you haven't had protein in 4+ hours and then you work out, that's going to put you in a situation where, A, you're not maximizing the spacing between your protein ingestions. You want to get about 30 to 40 grams of complete protein every 3 to 4 hours to maximize muscle gain and flip on the muscle protein synthesis in your body. So you'd want to have some protein before the workout in that case. But if you had protein before the workout, as long as you have protein within the next 4 hours, you'd be good. So certainly if we're talking like extreme endurance activities or, you know, super glycogen, carb burning, depleting exercise, you might want to consider having some carbohydrate mixture, you know, during or after the workout. But for the average person doing 30-minute workouts, people doing the daily BJ stuff, you most likely don't need, just as long as protein is had within either an hour or two of the workout, an hour or two after the workout, you're good. There's going to be probably no additional muscle building benefit or performance benefit for shorter 30-minute workouts when it comes to timing of your nutrients. Your body is certainly more willing to take in carbohydrate and store it in the muscles and the liver after exercise, because you deplete carbohydrates that are stored as glycogen in your muscle and liver during exercise. But a lot of it also comes down to the overall carbohydrate intake during the day, your calorie intake, overall activity level, etc. So for the average person, it's really not that important. The most important timing, though, is your protein intake. You don't want to have protein too often or too much of it. After 30 to 40 grams, there's no additional benefit beyond it might fill you up more, or you just have a little more at that meal, but there's no additional muscle building benefit for sure. And you want to space it out about 3 to 4 hours, because you need peaks and valleys with your protein intake. If you have it all the time too often, as I used to, like I'd have a meal, then I drink amino acid, drink between meals, you basically are going to desensitize your body to the amino acids and you won't utilize them properly. So hopefully that helps. I'll probably do a podcast on that at some point too, in more detail. All right, let me see. All right, we got SL Me. I think it's SL. See Me. See me? All right, so he asked about reducing belly fat. Body of Peace, Prince Hamilton. I'm not even sure what that means, but I feel like it's a beautiful thing. It's a valued subscriber to my YouTube channel. He says Body of Peace to all. Hey, I'll take it. What I've been called over the years, Body of Peace, is like, it's a beautiful thing. So you can't spot reduce, meaning if I have bicep fat, I can't do just bicep curls and burn the fat in my biceps. And the same thing applies to crunches for abs, push-ups for muscle man. Matthew, I'm adding you to the list as we speak of people that I'm going to kill at some point. That's the Billy Madison list. I'm glad I called that guy. Have a great day if you have to leave. Thanks for jumping in, man. You can't do push-ups to burn titty fat, right? It's a whole body approach. Your body will gain and lose fat in a genetically predetermined way. So I know for me, I hold it in my abs and love handle area in my face. So I'd have to get like super lean to really get to those areas to the point where I would be shredded. Whereas, I can more quickly lose fat on the arms and the limbs, and most guys, by the way, are like that. And women can tend to be a little more hip thigh oriented, but we're all different based on genetics, body type. So the best approach is a whole body approach and an integrated approach with exercise and diet. So a diet of mostly protein and produce, and combining that with, what I say, 352, 3 whole body metabolic conditioning workouts per week like we have at Tdbj.com. That is the best 1-2 punch for burning all fat, including belly fat. And I did a podcast on this, by the way. The 5 pillars of fat loss. Go to the weekly BJ podcast on all outlets, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor. I've been doing like insane amount of episodes, and people send in a question, and I've been just doing an episode on the entire question for an individual at a time. So it's been fun. I can do deeper dives into that, but I got to keep it moving. But it's a whole body approach. You can't spot reduce. Where are we at here? Okay, so I'm seeing, finally got in. Z-Sonic, what's up, man? Can I modify? So Neil Jenkins is asking, what disappeared? He says, I'm underweight and have a fast metabolism. I do your workouts exactly as recommended. Can I mod more weight to emphasize more gains? No, because here's the thing, man. Like, the metabolic conditioning style is never going to be the best approach for maximizing muscle gain. That's why I have the dailybj.com for fat loss and gorillacorngains.com for muscle gain. And obviously, it's 10 times the price, right? But it's a very different approach. And I did an excellent podcast on this. It's called Training for Fat Loss versus Muscle Gain, and I outlined the key differences. I'm going to briefly touch on it now because, again, there's a full podcast where I just deep dive on this. Like, pretty much all the questions I get, I'm getting there. I've done a podcast on them. So you can dig deeper in that. But metabolic conditioning is a whole body approach with the main goal being an elevation of heart rate and using strength movements to retain and and/or build muscle mass while elevating heart rate the entire time, to create the maximum fat loss effect while retaining and/or building a more functional muscle mass type of look, right? Lean, athletic, functional. You know, you're going to be lean and, you know, you might be ripped if you're super lean, but you're not going to be like jacked. Gorilla Corn Gains is if you want to get jacked. And what we do there is we go more upper lower body split. We will actually, instead of alternating between non-competitive movements, which is great for fat loss because you can keep the rest period short, the intensity high, and keep your heart rate up the whole time, we use a lot of competitive groupings, competitive stackings. So here's an example for chest, right? I would do, let's say I did some heavy chest presses, went right into, heavy weighted dips, right into some dumbbell chest presses, right into some band cable chest flies, and then maybe finish out as many push-ups as I could. You know, that would be an example of a stack. They're all competitive movements, but by driving blood to one area and creating as much metabolic stress in a particular body zone, that provides more of a muscle building stimulus. You won't get your heart rate up as much, not as good of a fat loss stimulus, but ideal for muscle gain. So it's more of a local approach for muscle gain versus a systemic approach for fat loss. The episode does a much deeper dive into it and it gives more examples, but that's a great way to look at it. By the way, GorillaCornGains.com is open now for registration for the final quarter. It'll be the last quarter I do it in the current format with that much of high-level coaching and at that price point. I'm trying to find a way where I can make it more affordable but have less coaching component to make it more affordable and scale it properly. But, you know, I'll figure that out. But this is the last one for the last quarter for those that want to jump in on that. Someone just asked a question. Can you add mobility videos to the site? Well, I just did one on YouTube. So it's the top 10 mobility moves. Just go to, after on the live stream, just jump on, and those are the 10 that I use the most and recommend the most. I don't want to put stuff on the site that is going to cloud the site in terms of what it used to be. This is a fat loss site. It's not a mobility site. There are websites and membership sites just for mobility. So, but that being said, the 10 that I use and recommend the most are now the YouTube channel for free viewing anytime you want. Ideal pre-post workout at night, Netflix and stretch style, and there's more also in Gorilla Corn Gains for those in that program. So I'm trying to run through these quick. Jimbo Jetson, I like that. Okay. Over 40. Okay, I got so many. Well, these are coming in fast. Over 40 is hypertrophy or muscle gain not going to happen anymore. Greg Avedon's work has seemed very long. Greg's a great guy. I don't know what his programs are like, but there's research that shows you can still build muscle into as late as your 80s. It might happen at a slower level, and mainly what that's due to is the amount of recovery that you need between workouts is greater. So you can't train as heavy with the same level of frequency in your youth, so things will happen slowly. But the way I just did this, I did a complete podcast. You guys notice the theme? Like, there's podcasts on all this stuff with way deeper explanations, because I really deep dive and outline these things. The top 10 fit over 40 tips. Please check it out. I even did a follow-up top 6 fit over 60 tips for those that are even older and need some options with that. If you go to GorillaCornGains.com, it outlines the equipment you need at the site. And it's Gains with a Z. Wow, these are coming in so fast. What the hell was I just talking about? Over 40. Okay, so a lot of what happens, I just turned 37. You know, at this point in my life now, as long as I retain my muscle mass, I'm pretty good. I'd be happy with that. If I can just retain it for as long as possible. And for me, I'm looking to now strengthen weaknesses and fill in the gaps as much as possible. So strength and muscle gain that was always a strength for me. I can keep maintaining and slowly building upon that. But now I really wanted to focus on conditioning, my footwork, my coordination, my rhythm. That's why I took on boxing. So what's great about this whole process, this lifelong journey. Okay, Mario, what's up, man? Jump rope. Guys, while I'm answering, do me a favor, while I'm answering one question, save the questions because they come in and they disappear, and then I don't want to miss them. So, or whatever, we'll just do the best we can. This is a disaster on the phone for some reason. But, fuck, I got lost again. I don't like jump rope that much. I think it's great, but I'm not good at jumping rope. So I like the other drills. But it's a great tool to use if you like it and you enjoy it. But I honestly, I like the ladder and more of the other boxing drills. You can continue to improve weaknesses for a long time. Like, for example, let's say you've been someone who's trained your upper body more, over 40. All right? And now, like, oh, I've neglected my legs, so now I'm gonna emphasize my legs a bit more. You can make serious gains. If there's an area that's undertrained or underdeveloped, or a muscle quality or a fitness quality, you can continue to build that. You might have reached your genetic ceiling or potential in some areas, but there's a host of other areas. It's not just about muscle, man. There's strength, power, endurance, mobility. There's conditioning, there's footwork. There's so many things, developing skills. You can develop skills for the rest of your life. Training the brain, which is part of why I took boxing too, is there's a neuromuscular component, and it's so good for cognition, reflexes. So it's still possible. Just listen to my podcast on it for a lot more on that. Let me see here. Mario's asking thoughts on long, slow cardio, like riding a bike for 30 to 5 minutes. I am a huge, as you know, I walk the dogs for at least an hour a day, and I've committed to that long term. I think part of what I see in the Fit Over 40 podcast too is you can't do as much heavy work. You need more space and time between workouts. So if anything, the older you get, the more aerobic work you need, because the aerobic system drives recovery, and you still need to stay active. That's the thing. Like, people, they stop doing as many workouts and they only do lifting, right? So then they stop lifting as much and they start getting fat because they've bumped down their activity level. So you can still keep your activity level at the same level or higher. You just have to now incorporate more conditioning, more just daily movement to make sure you are, because it's not just about the calories you burn, but that's a huge component, just like the calories that come in through food. Energy balance drives everything. Hormones are important, but they're secondary to your overall caloric levels, both in expenditure and consumption. So you need more of that stuff. And if anything, it helps drive recovery. And you'll notice, again, for most people, I think more than 3 workouts a week is probably going to be too tough with the day-to-day of stress, busy parents, professionals. Maybe 4 is possible. Like, I do 4 at this point. I've been actually experimenting with trying to do as little training as possible lately, and to see if I can still maintain, if not make gains, and it's been great. I'm more excited to train every time I train now, and the rest days are the best days. So I think, advanced individuals, maybe those that have more time, more committed to fitness, can maybe do 4, possibly 5 workouts a week that are of intensity, but 4 would be better. Everybody else, anything more than 3 will probably be overkill. And then on the off days, just do movement. Just walk the dogs, play some basketball, as long as it's not too much hardcore pickup, because that can be something in and of itself. Look who I got. Look who it is. She just brought Bujay. How am I going to drink this?
It's a sippy cup. It's an adult sippy cup.
I love Malibu, but they don't do straws. It's good for the environment. So.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, give me the new silicone. Nitro cold brew. Guaranteed to keep you up till 2 a.m. See the foam? I don't drink beer. I don't drink alcohol. But I do have some weed, as many of you know on the podcast. So this is like it's my version. Hopefully that made sense. Yeah, so aerobic stuff is good as long as you're not doing, this is weird. Colin, come here, say hello. Come here. You want to see the dogs? This is the guy, he will not let me. Colin, tell them.
Papa, please, take me for a walk. I'm Colin, bye.
He won't let me not take him for a walk. He goes crazy. He starts getting erections, and it's not a good look. So that's one thing I recommend, like, get a dog, you'll never miss a walk, unless you're a terrible dog owner. Mario said he enjoyed the Down in the DM podcast. I'm glad you did. That was it 2.5 hours of nonsense? I was like, I don't know, are we going to have a business? Are we going to have a business after this? Oh, this is actually pretty good, this silicone straw. Look at the flexibility. Because they give you these paper fucking straws, and you've got, the moment you put that fucking straw in, there's a 5-minute countdown clock before it just dissolves in your drink. It's awful. Danny, thank you so much, man. It means a lot to me, man. We're pumping out like 5 episodes a week. And by the way, you guys can send me on, if you go to Anchor, just download Anchor, free app for Apple and Android devices. You can actually voice message me. And what I do at the beginning of the episode As I play your message, I dedicate it to you, and you get a deep dive from yours truly on exactly what you want to talk about. You'll get more in depth than I can hear because we're getting so many coming through. So I appreciate all the listens, guys. Like a flaccid pecker. Yeah, this is, by the way, this seems to happen more, what, 37? Maybe this is like 17, 27, 37 in terms of limpness of the dick. Actually, I'll be honest, like, I've never had better erections at this age. That might be too much, but you know what you signed up for. So blood flow, no issues with blood flow if you exercise regularly, in my opinion. Keep the belly fat down. By the way, especially with, I said this on the podcast, sativa, the sativa strain, 4-hour erection, done. Game changer. Z-Sonic says, I'm 36 and my bed game is strong, fam. Look, this is the time. Like, people, we're entering the prime of our lives. Like, 500 years ago, people, this was it. Like, you die at 35, 36. If you're 36, like, you're the elder statesman. But now, like, with technology, we got a shot at 70, 80 plus. Maybe we'll be the first generation, even though it doesn't look good based on the stats, in terms of the generation under the baby boomers is like projected to have a lower lifespan. But people are either fitter than ever or fatter and healthier than ever. So I think we're going to have more centenarians than ever in the years to come. So hopefully there's fucking to had for 10 plus decades. We'll see. Anything's possible. Merways, thank you so much, man. Oh no, what happened? No! What the fuck? No. What happened? Why? Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened there. Okay. Sorry, guys. Here's a quick tip. I guess if you haven't noticed yet, if you ever want to do a live stream for your business on YouTube, don't use the phone because it's an awful experience. But don't use the computer because no one can actually send you messages. So in general, don't use YouTube. Someone says, Merway says, I'm 45, best erections ever, wife can't keep up. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Break her back in a good way, nicely with consent. What's up with your shoe collection? Have a favorite? Well, E in Florida, would you be surprised to hear I just did a podcast today on the benefits of barefoot training and the best workout shoes. Here's a quick rundown. I would recommend listening to it, though. I think you'll enjoy it. Michael says, just turned 50, still works like a breeze. So the bottom line is look, here's the thing. This is why I love you guys. A, if you do these workouts and you follow me, you're smart. And I'm not just saying that because you're following me. You are automatically a higher level consumer because I don't sell the bullshit. I don't sell the quackery or the bro-centric stuff. It requires a more critical thinking mind, someone who's willing to overlook what might look cool or what might look trendy or what might give them cater to their manhood, whatever else. Like, to me, it's just about getting results and with as little cost on your body as possible for longevity. And it just requires someone who's more educated on the topic. So you're very smart. And apparently everyone fucks. Like, everyone fucks who does these workouts. And so it makes me happy to hear this. What's the point? What's the point of all of this if you can't use the tools you've been given, if you know what I'm talking about? All right, where were we? Oh, so shoes. My shoe collection. Well, if we're talking sneaks versus workout shoes, I love Nike. I love Air Jordans. I'm a big fan. I like the Cortez, too. Cortez, Tailwind. I just got this brand new, it's called a Tinker. So it's like a Fusion Air Jordan 3 Low that has like the concrete on it, but it's royal blue. I mean, we could go all day on some of this. My favorite, my favorite AJs are. What do you think about diet sodas, Danny? Huh? Is that an answer to your question? Fresca. When are they going to put me on the fucking payroll? In moderation, they're fine. I prefer them over regular sodas because liquid calories were a big problem for me when I was overweight. I would have like 7 sodas a day. I drink juice and milk with every meal. You know, milkshakes, you name it. I used to drink regular Gatorade. So I do G0s because I need the electrolytes because I sweat a lot. And I have probably a couple of diet sodas a day. So, I mean, I'm not, you know, here's the thing too, like, you gotta have one fucking sin, maybe two. Is it water? No. Would it be better to have a LaCroix? Sure. But who actually finishes a LaCroix? You find me someone who actually finishes a full bottle of LaCroix, and there isn't like uncarbonated backwash left in every single can I've ever seen of LaCroix. Like, the idea of LaCroix is great. You open it up and it's like a couple sips later. So if it helps you stay the course, if you enjoy it, and might it take a month off of my life when it's all said and done? Fine, but if I'm not getting erections in the last month anyway, what's the point? See how it's all connected, guys? A few have mentioned balance. I must have missed that. Bosu ball. So here's the thing with the Bosu ball. What should I do? Should I drink the Nitro or the Fresca? That's interesting. That's an interesting combination. It's not bad, just interesting. The no one has a Bosu. It's like $100, and I prefer you spend an additional $100 or so and get a sand dune stepper because there's more uses to it, in my opinion. And I'm just not a huge fan of the Bosu personally. It's okay. I think it's nice for some of the push-up drills on it, but I prefer the sand dune stepper over the Bosu. So that's why I recommend it. Again, there's at gardenofgains.com, gains with a Z. And by the way, links to all the shit I have, guys, I know many of you have asked, bjgaddour.com, bjgaddour.com is all my links for everything. So, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Bosu. I don't own one, so it would be difficult for me to make workouts with it. Daniel says my wife bought one and it sits there alone and unused. It's a sad, you know, like to see that blue. People love the Bosu though. It's so funny what people enjoy. You know who does a lot of Bosu workouts? Alexia Clark. So you can check her out. She does a lot of stuff with it. I just don't own one. I never really liked it. And when it comes to more of a stability stuff in general, you're better suited using it for more of your upper body core drills than lower body stuff. Sometimes there's too much instability and it makes it difficult to actually get a training effect. So what I like about the sand dune stepper is it's just enough instability while being able to still use heavy loads and not go crazy. Because again, like in an actual environment, there's something to be said for something being too unstable. Like, stability training is good, balance is important, but we'll never need to be like standing on a wooden plank on one leg 100 feet off the ground. That's an extreme example, but you know, it only has to be just slightly less stable than the floor. It doesn't have to be like super unstable. In fact, usually going too far in that extreme can be not good. Wow, I can't believe how many have come through. Manuel, what's up, man? Want to say I'm following you since Men's Health. Real and awesome. Question: do you specific roller? The peanut is good. I like the rumble roller. That's my favorite one because it has these teeth that really get deep into the tissue. That's one I use the most often, the rumble roller. And I go with the half one because it's less expensive and you can travel with it. Even though, like, TSA always has to make big fucking, it's like, what's this? And they ask you, like, tell me, what is this for? And then you start telling them and they interrupt you with another fucking question. Don't you I mean, it's like you just asked me about the roller. Now, why are you asking me about push-ups? But TSA is a trip. But that's my favorite roller. I've tried the vibrating roller from Hyperice. I like that too. But sometimes it vibrates so much that it moves on me a little bit and then you got to charge it. I also feel like I don't get in deep enough into the tissue like I do with the rumble roller. That's my favorite one. I have used and will continue to use for my calves, like because you're on your feet all day and the calves just get like grizzled like no other muscle group, especially if you do a lot of those that are runners. I know many of you are. The Battlestar from Mobility Wad or Rogue Fitness is my favorite because it's just like super dense and just smashing the calf over it, and you have an elevated platform you can put it on to get a little bit of space from the floor and get more leverage. Beyond that, that's my favorite roller. I've used the Trigger Point roller as well from, what's it, I think it's just called the trigger point roll. That one's good too, but I don't get in as deep as I do with the teeth of that rumble roller. Danny said Sand Dune Stepper is out of your price range. I've heard that before. The reaction I got, like people say, $250 for a purple pillow, and I'm like, okay, well, you answer that too. Just you can try using something like a pillow. You could, if you have access to sand, you can fuck around and sand a little bit, or just do your normal training. I will say though, anybody who gets it thanks me for it and uses it all the time. It is for stretching in particular, like in terms of being a pad for your knees. All my calf training, I do it on because I've never found a better way to get all the individual aspects of the feet, the toes, the metatarsals, midfoot involved. But yeah, it's expensive, so I get it, man. There really isn't a good substitute besides sand. And an Airx pad could be a good option, but you could say, well, that's just a blue pillow, right? You get what you pay for a lot of this stuff. But you could put your foot on a sofa cushion and get some similar effects. Not as good, but that's a MacGyver hack. I've done that before in like hotel rooms because they're not my pillows. Because if I'm going to sweat I'm going to sweat and get all my juices on a pillow, it's not going to be my pillow. It'll be yours next time I visit. How long till you got to pee? You know, I've got a great bladder. My wife said to me the other day, your bladder is impressive. And I thought she was going to say your penis was, but it's not. So she didn't. And I'm a camel. Like I'm half Arab. My father's from North Africa. So I've got like an extra hump for fluid, I think. But when I do pee, it's like a fire hose. Natural. Fresca. That's never been done before, by the way. We just invented something. No one chases a nitro cobra with a Fresca. Ulfric Stormcloak. Great, by the way. That's if you don't have a fucking video game profile or avatar, like you need to get one because I feel like I feel like I played you on Call of Duty this past weekend. Great fucking name for war games. Great name in general. I love that. Stormcloak. Wow. It almost sounds like something you could get with a spell in Harry Potter. Not that I'm a huge fan of those, but I've seen a couple of them. Thanks for your book, Your Body's Your Barbell. Thank you for writing, in my opinion, best bodyweight training book out there, life-changing book. Man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wrote it 5 years ago. I had 30 days to write it. So there were some compromises with regards to what I could put in there and had to deal with the editing and a lot of the stuff that goes on in Men's Health. But it was the best I could at the time, and I stand by almost everything that's in there. And I'm going to hopefully start writing my next book called Fuck the Gym, which is going to be my basic, my memoirs and magnum opus, you could say, on everything I know about training and my signature style of Metcon and metabolic bodybuilding kind of all into one book. And I hope to have that ready in 2021, but it might take a lot of time, so we'll see. But I'm going to put everything I have into it, and it'll be fun. Someone said, what is your opinion? I'm sorry, I'm not catching names. It like flashes and it leaves. What's your opinion of Olympic barbell lifts? I think if you're an Olympic lifter, you got to do them. I think there are a lot. See, here's my whole thing, right? I like to take the best that I see in some disciplines and then find the lowest impact, highest return way of incorporating them into the training. So you see a lift like a barbell snatch, right? Picking a barbell overhead and catching it, which requires a level of skill and mastery that is so intense that people dedicate their whole fucking life to learning the single movement of the snatch. That's it. That's all they do. And they usually start learning when they're a kid with a fucking dowel or bar, and their whole life is dedicated to doing it to win for their country. So you want to tell me that the average Joe or Jane working at, Office Depot or in a cubicle is going to leave work and come to a gym and learn how to snatch? And learn how to snatch for time and reps in a state of fatigue? So this is where it gets crazy, right? So you look at the snatch. So the type of snatching, I like a lot of snatching, if you know what I'm talking about. But in terms of exercise, I like the muscle snatch. So what that is, you start with triple bends in the ankle, knees, and hips with dumbbells, which are easier to learn than even kettlebells. Again, it's all about learning curve, right? Especially if I don't see you. If I can't see you and coach you directly, I've got to pick the stuff that has the smallest learning curve and that's most accessible to as many people listening and following as possible. So all I got to do from there is just pull the weight straight overhead into full extension overhead. And then I finish with my legs and hips fully extended versus having to take a bar, wield it, and there's like 2 pulls. There's the first pull, the second pull, then I got to drop underneath it and catch it in a deep squat. So, but what the snatch is really about is triple extension at the ankle, knee, and hip, and working your entire body, but also really your posterior chain. I can do that with the dumbbells, and I can teach you can learn that without me being there, and it's much safer and effective, and you're getting 80 to 90% of the benefits of the movement. In the same regard as a lot of people struggle with cleans because of the catch. But if you look at the clean, you can eliminate the catch of the clean by doing a power curl or with weights outside your body, triple bends like a linebacker, shortstop, and just explode and catch in the top position. No issue catching the bar in your chest or having the wrist mobility. It's an easy way to train the same pattern without as much of a learning curve and much safer. And you can do this anywhere because that's part of it too, right? I need you to get a consistent plan. Consistency comes with equipment access. All right, also comes with being not in pain and not getting hurt. So I'm not against the Olympic lifts. I just think those are for people that are dedicated in a way that most listening are not, because they have lives, they have jobs, other shit to worry about, like nitro cold brews and frescas. Swings, kettlebell swing. Not the easiest movement to teach, but once learned, trains the entire backside of the body, and you can do it anywhere in a 6x6 foot space with much greater, much less risk of injury than the barbell Olympic lifts. So they're good if you have the proficiency in them, but for the average person, I don't see the benefit of risking it or how they can do it in all settings, like hotel, travel. Mary's asking, do you have band workouts? We have, so the Tdbj.com, every month you get 6 new home travel fat loss workouts that are 30 minutes or less. You can make some of them longer, by the way. They're all about 30 minutes. And the most commonly used tools are body weight, dumbbells, and bands. So the answer is yes, we have a lot of band workouts. You can also access all the past workouts as well. I think it's like, we're getting close to 100 workouts in the archives as well. So, and I've been mixing more boxing drills into it too, because the cardio and fat loss is off the charts, and boxing is one of the most travel, home-friendly, cardio options on the planet. So it's great for consistency and access. Matthew Salle prefers the clean and jerk. Another great movement, tough to teach. So you can get a lot of the benefits from the clean and jerk with a simple curl to press, and then you can layer that into a hang clean to press with dumbbells. And so I mean, yeah, the great. I love those patterns. You'll recognize like a lot of the athletic movements you see, but I just try to find ways that mitigate the risk and the impact and the cost to your body. Because again, it's one thing for it to be able to add. Like gains is great, but what are you losing for the gains? I'm all about like the pain-free gains, the gains with no cost. Even if the gains might not be like, if I can get you 8 out of 9 out of the 10, that is the gains that you can get from these really challenging, difficult lifts, but I can get you doing them consistently forever, way better. Lunge Man shorts, they are in production. We posted on Instagram. We're actually there Friday at the in downtown LA where they're manufactured. They're made in the U.S. It's, that's why some argue they're a higher price premium product, but they're also premium materials, and it mattered to us that it was local, that we could work directly with the manufacturer, and we don't have someone in another country in sweatshop conditions making shitty materials. So it's made in LA. They're almost done, and we've got the LA collection coming soon, which Lakers purple, Dodgers blue, and Raiders silver. So stay tuned for that. And also the longer 3/4 shorts coming, the muscle tee that goes with both the short and the long shorts. We're super excited. You guys are going to love these shorts. We have a special prize in the mail that's coming with them as well. So we actually have the printing materials ready. We have the insert that comes with it, and we're just waiting for them to be sent to us, and then the whole family here will be sending them out personally. So we're excited to get them to you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the launch. The website will be up ongoing end of this month, early fall. So those that wanted to get in. Also, international shipping should be available soon too. Let me see here. I've missed some stuff. Oh. Scott is asking, yeah, so what I'm going to probably do is at the end of this month, I'm sorry, end of year, probably December, we're packaging up the entire Gorilla Core Gains program, and it's just going to be available as a 1-year muscle building program that we all just did together. in the group. So there's gonna be no coaching with it. You get no, like they've been getting 3 live streams with me a month, and it's a smaller group of 50 men. So anybody who's wanted full access to me has gotten it. And frankly, they've needed it because it's tough. Like there's, I've got, I guess in total, all platforms, maybe I reach 1 million people. All right. And I'd reach way more when I was at Men's Health, etc. And 50 people do this with me. So 51. Gives you an idea of what's involved. They're very time intensive. If anything, I'm actually going to try to make a modified version of it that's more sustainable and accessible to everyone else. Because again, I could only find 50 men that were really willing to do it at that price. But it's been worth it because they're amazing. So, but it'll be available. It'll be significantly less, but it'll also be, last year's program. I'll be moving on to a new program as well. So it'll be priced accordingly with all those factors. Oh, the Maliblues, man. Get some Air Force Ones to go with them too. Actually, the best. So you want the Maliblues? It's the Carolina blue. Pair them with my favorite Jordans, which are the retro Air Jordan 11s low in the baby blue. It has like the white, the patent leather. That's my favorite Air Jordan. I have it in red and black. I just haven't been able to find it yet, and I paid $400 for the red and black. We again, that's. The market sets the price, man. Undergarment thong. Well, I'm open to anything. I'm open to anything that people are willing to buy, within reason. I don't particularly like thongs. I've worn one once. I've put on my wife's one. She wasn't too happy about that. It took some work getting it out of my ass because I've got these thick cheeks. But we'll see. I've got an audience I think that would be interested just based on analytics. Michael says, I do your YouTube workouts all the time. Thanks so much. He drives a truck. That's fantastic, man. We did a piece when I was at Men's Health about the workouts a lot of truck drivers do at pit stops because, it is like, you talk about a grind. Like, I've driven myself from Milwaukee to Florida, Milwaukee to Massachusetts, Pennsylvania to Malibu, California. So I've done the long trips, sometimes solo, oftentimes just with another person. So I know the grind of that, doing that daily, and also how stiff you can get. So it is super important to be able to get in those 10 to 20 minute sessions where you can. And a lot of these places now have showers, and just be careful when you go into the showers. You never know what's going to happen. Don't drop the soap. And but that's great, man. That pleases me. Here's the thing. Like, it's one thing, and I just did a podcast on this, and it's entitled "It's My Pleasure and It's My Job." And I've been doing this for a long time, and I've, for the first time in my life this past year, I felt like I've lost the passion for this because I found myself removed from what originally got me into, which was just sharing it. Like, just sharing it with people that needed it. And thinking about, young BJ and how much he would have benefited from knowing this shit and all the injuries he could have been saved from, and all the, I wouldn't have been fat for so long and all this stuff. And then when I hear someone using my stuff and benefiting from it, it is my pleasure. And I'm very lucky that it's my job. And that's what I've been trying to really get my mindset about, is that if one person benefits from something I share, it's a win. Especially at this point in my life, because I've shared so much, and you never know what is going to resonate with someone or how they get in. Like, could just be from a single exercise. And by the way, a lot of the people listening, I say this because a lot of you are trainers and you make content or want to make more content. And the basics are never too basic. And the rule of one, if one person can benefit, to me, it's always worth sharing. And I'm not saying you build a business around a single person unless they have $1 million or more, but certainly if one. So it pleases me to hear that, man. And like, that's one thing. You got someone who's driving a truck all day, stiff as fuck, and he's finding a way to fit in these workouts. So again, like, where are the excuses for someone else? Like 30 minutes 3 times a week is so sustainable. It's so doable. And you'll get 80 to 90% of the benefits you can get from even the most structured fitness plan from it. And a lot of you compare yourselves to others or think, I want to go next level, everything else like that. And again, I offer next level stuff, but I will tell you flat out, once you get to that next level and you see how much extra effort and sacrifice and dedication is involved, it's probably not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably not worth it. And this is like a lot of things in life, right? With almost anything, you get most of the benefits and the initial dose. And then to squeeze out like the last little bits. It's like the toothpaste at the end of the fucking ring, right? You can keep flattening it out and you can fucking squeeze it. And how much work does it take to get the last, just get the new fucking, it's only $5 anyway. Just go on to the next tube. But, you know, a lot of people can, because if you come up from not a lot, you know, you use that toothpaste so there's nothing left. But it's so easy initially just to get it out. You get so much out of it initially. And then at the end, it's just like, you're just fucking trying to just massage it, and then you're taking different angles and you're trying to like bend it back and you still can't get shit out. And then you're just taking the brush and you're rubbing the nozzle. It's like, is this worth it? Probably not. But for some people it is, because they have the time and they're that passionate about it. But then they reach different stages of their life where it's like, oh yeah, it's, now I just don't want to, I just want to be able to not be fat. That's a big goal for a lot of people. I just don't want to be fat. I want to be sloppy. Whereas maybe 10 years ago, it's like I wanted to be shredded so I can go to fucking hedonism and have sex with 30 people. And then 10 years later, it's like, I just want to have sex once or twice a month, and maybe once a week. That's a good goal. And I don't want to be sloppy, right? So anyway, I'm going to go on a rant there. Yes, that is a great callback by Z Sonic. Over the Top, one of my favorite Stallone movies. And a lot of fucking truck drivers getting in there, putting their whole, like, that's the thing about, you think arm wrestling's biceps, but it's like, no, this is a whole body experience. And they even had like, you guys see that on, was it Spike or FX? That like new arm wrestling competition that didn't last more than a season. I enjoyed it while it was on. Let's see what we got here. Matthew asked, you ever think about public speaking? So here's the issue with that. I am a hermit, so I don't like to leave the house. And my lease also says that I can't host events here. So I can't do it here, and I don't leave the house, so it's going to be difficult. The amount of money it would take for me to get up to leave the house at this point is substantial, because I can just, I can do everything from the house. Like, people talk, oh, you eat too much meat. By the way, I've cut my meat intake down substantially. We have one car. We barely use it. We work from home. And so we're very environmentally, we're doing a decent job for the environment. Let me just put it that way. But would I be open to it? I mean, yeah, if the price is right. Because I'm speaking to you now. So that's the whole thing. I am antisocial and introverted, so it just takes a lot for me to you know, to get in front of groups. But, you know, we'll see. And also, by the way, no one asked because either they don't know, or like, you know, I might be too controversial because I tell it like it is, or I swear, or I wear short shorts. So, I don't know. Michael says I was obese for 3 decades and now I'm at 15% body fat, which is, by the way, amazing. Congrats. 12 to 15% body fat is a very healthy range. Like, that's a very healthy, sustainable range. You can dip into like 8 to 12. 8 to 12 is kind of where I try to live. I don't count or track it, but I just know based on how I look. But I also know that if I was a truck driver and I couldn't do this for a living, and didn't have like home gym access and the freedom of schedule I do, you know, I'd probably be closer to 15. I mean, because again, it's just, and these are the things that a typical fitness pro won't tell you. It's like, no, it's not. It's easy. Anybody can do it. It's like, no, it's not. This is, especially if you don't like exercise. I don't like exercise. I like sports. I don't like exercise. I do it because I know the benefits, and I used to do it to help me get better at sport. But in reality, I should have played more of that sport, because there's such a small translation between weight room strength and the field or the court. Anybody who knows what I'm talking about. But it's difficult, man, and congratulations, especially because once you've been overweight, and people won't admit this, but it's just a fact, it is going to be harder for you the rest of your life to maintain that and/or continue to lose any more weight, because once your body has accumulated a certain level of fat, it'll always be more willing to go back up to that level. So to be able to maintain that, to achieve that and maintain it, like you are a 1%er, man. I congratulate you with everything I can say to that. It's tough. HILT workouts. What is that? Prince Hamilton, thank you so much for joining us. I will continue to be your body of peace, whatever that means. And by the way, the peace is spelled as in world peace. So is he saying that my body creates a more peaceful environment? I mean, that might be the best compliment I've ever received. It's on every video, which is great. There's 2 trends on my YouTube channel. Well, 3 actually. People ask, like, how do you not have 1 million followers or subscribers? And I don't have an answer for you. Number 2 is there's always one person that dislikes every new video I post. I wish you, if that person's listening, I wish you a terrible life. I wish you nothing but pain and disgrace. That's okay. It's funny. And then 3, it's Prince Hamilton saying body of peace to every video. Occasionally I'll say glutes of peace. So if it's a glute workout, I'll say glutes of peace. So I just want you to know, man, I appreciate you. It's a lot of fun. I've missed so much. Where else? Guys, if I missed something, please ask the question again, because there's just a... Oh, so Mirwis is asking, I have both leg dumbbells going up to 52.5 pounds each, enough to get a decent workout? Yes. You've got a pair of 25-pound dumbbells for me. Endless. I could work out with a pair of 25-pound dumbbells the rest of my life and never get bored. And still get all the fitness qualities I want worked, because I know how to make lightweight feel heavy with tempo, pre-exhaustion, time under tension, making lightweight move faster. I know how to make those 25s feel like 50s. So, and then, you know, you've got all your isolation movements. And in general, like, most people can't even do bodyweight split squats for a minute. You got 25, so yeah, you can go a long way with 25. So you can go up to 52.5 in 2.5 to 5 pound increments. That's money. I don't have workouts with sledgehammers, but I do have sledgehammers. For some reason, they're over there. I got them when I got those 2 fucking tires. Can I tell you the worst thing I ever did? I got those 2 tires in the back. Because they are impossible to grip. Like, within a minute, you're sweating, you can't even grab them. And then one of them is like 800 pounds, so I can't grab it, so it's like really hard to get it back up. It destroys the grass. And now I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get them out of here. So, big mistake. And we live right next to PCH, so if it somehow rolls down, I mean, my biggest nightmare is it rolls down into PCH, and it's already the most dangerous highway in America. So, yeah. No sledgehammer workouts. Probably not going to be coming anytime soon. G. Rosier said, Men's Health did a list of the top 100 fitness influencers, and I didn't make the list. Are you surprised by that? I didn't make the list, but who built their Instagram content to 1 million when they had only like 150,000 people when I came over there and helped them? I didn't make the list, but whose face you see in all the videos still, that they still recycle and will continue to forever because they'll never find someone to replace me? I didn't make the list, but I did do a podcast on why I left Men's Health. Check it out. That's my most listened to podcast. Big surprise. All you chismosas out there love the gossip. But that explains everything about why I left. And I think, you know, in general, by the way, without having to name names, there's no names besides people that I like and respect mentioned. I could not do a podcast like this at Men's Health because they're like so fucking vanilla and square. And in a lot of ways, I just couldn't be myself. And some people wish I was more like I was when at Men's Health. They like the more vanilla square BJ who just gave the information and shut up. But I wasn't having a lot of fun doing that. I did it for as long as I needed to get the following I needed to do my own thing. And now people are turned off. Some people are turned off by my personality, but here's the thing about personality. It is what it is. I can't change it. I certainly don't want to change it at this point in my life. And I got enough fucking people that follow me. So you don't need as many as you think to do big things in this world. And I got a lot of people that still follow me and they hate follow me. They can't stand me, but they know I got the best fucking workouts in the game. So it is what it is. We move on. And I mean, I thank God I left at the time I did. Because, man, did they go a direction that I didn't even think, even while I was in there and in it, and the toxicity and everything was going badly for them, and I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Even when I was in that situation, I didn't think it would get as bad as it has gotten now. So, one of my tips on my latest podcast, 37 years, 37 lessons. People are loving that one. I just posted it on earlier this week. Please give it a listen. Like, gems upon gems. My top 10 training tips, my top 10 nutrition tips, my top 10 business tips, my top 7 lifestyle tips. The 37th tip is the most important tip, and it's more than just a tip, by the way. I go deep into those, but quickly, so it's like rapid fire. It's better to exit early than too late. That's a big one. G Rosier, I recognize you, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. I've seen you on YouTube. I feel like I've seen you on Instagram as well. I personally answer most of those DMs, by the way. So, G Rosier, Gary Rosier, I appreciate you, man. You guys mean a lot to me. You really do. Because at this point, too, like, the only... I got paid sites. I got plenty of ways to make a living without sharing free stuff. But, like I said, as long as people are listening and enjoying and benefiting, that's the value I get. That's why I originally started doing it. So I appreciate you guys. Jason says, loved your podcast with Shaun T. Any plans on having other fitness stars as guests on future podcasts? So the first 40 episodes are all guests. And then I got to the point where some of the guests were good, like Shaun T, and then others, like, it was like pulling teeth to get anything of value out. Or I didn't know them all enough or have enough chemistry with them to make it as good of an episode as I would have liked. And you deal with also connection issues and audio issues when you do them, you know, whether it be Skype or whatever else. And I'm not going to just fly out to do a free podcast with someone or fly them in. So it gets tough to do it on a regular schedule. So I just started doing them myself, and people much prefer this format. So I will continue to, there's a couple of people I want to do as a guest, like Tony Jeffries for boxing. Joel Seedman I'd like to get on at some point. I might start doing some co-pilot episodes with Jeremy Scott. So we'll see. But I also, I can just like quickly, I take a question, I look at it. If there's things that I'm missing, I research it, I put it together quick. So it's just one of those things. I can put out like 5 episodes a week if I get questions that you guys want to answer. Because part of the problem too is when you do this for so long, I don't know what people like, is this worth doing an episode on? But like I said, if one person asks, it's worth it because I appreciate you guys. And then I can quickly put it together, record it. So it's all in, it's like a 2-hour investment. In some cases, but some of the episodes take me longer because I got to really do some legwork on it. Then I make a video that goes with it because it needs a reference. But so yeah, we'll get some guests on, but it's mainly going to be me, and then I bring my wife on too because she is my better half, as many of you have noticed on the podcast. And she's hilarious, she's smart, and she adds another perspective that beyond having a woman's voice to the cast, that can get very manly. Let me see here. Hodges is asking. Okay, thank you for asking. It is the weekly BJ podcast. iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher. Just enter and search the weekly BJ podcast. All separate words. And you'll find all 83 episodes and counting. And some really, like the last month, man, I don't mean to congratulate myself, but I've been putting some fucking fire episodes out that I think you'll really enjoy. So you can, if you still can't find it for whatever reason, DM me on Instagram at BJ Gaddour, and I will I'll give you a direct link to whatever platform, to iTunes, Spotify, or Anchor. Those are my favorites. Anchor is my favorite because I can actually play music that themes well with the episodes. You can only hear it on Anchor for some reason. Maybe that'll change at some point, but Rizwan Aziz came across you a few months ago. Love your workouts. Keep up the good work. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much, man. Glad you dig it. Got some more content coming. I think this afternoon I'm going to I just cleaned. Let me show you guys. I'm in the Garden of Gains right now. You see that, right? Let me flip. So we've got new neighbors moved in and there's a dog next door. So the dogs, my dog, Kong, the big one you saw earlier, just dug up a storm and he messed up the entire thing. So I just cleaned everything with a water brush. I still see some dog prints. Damn it. You can never fucking really fully clean an outdoor gym. That's something they don't tell you. They don't tell you that when they try to sell you on the outdoor gym. But I'll probably shoot some content out here as well, get you guys some new stuff. What else we got? Okay, I got to get to some of the pre-asked questions. Hey, BJ, how sore is too sore, if that makes sense? Thanks for the great content, loving the workouts. I did a podcast on this. This is, it's great because, God, this fucking tripod won't stay up. Now people ask me, like, I used to get so annoyed by the same questions, and I'm like, you know what, it's like, how do you get too sore? Oh, listen, have you listened to is it okay to train when you are sick, ? Sore, ? Tired, ? And we just did a podcast on that. So that's from Olivia. Check that one out. I'll actually email you the direct link to that. I'll note that. And the short answer to that is too sore means, like, if you can perform, let's say you can perform 10 reps with something on the training day, and the next day you can only perform 5 reps or less, that means you did too much. That's too much of a performance drop. Now, 7 or 8 reps with a weight you could do 10 yesterday, that's the perfect stimulus to just give your body just enough of a reason to adapt and change. And it's not going to require you limping around for 5 to 7 days. You can train again in 48 hours. That same area or muscle group, right? So that's what I go with. Too sore means you're debilitated. Training is not supposed to take function away. Yes, a good training session, you should not be able to repeat it the next day because you're a little weaker the next day, but that's the stimulus your body needs to get bigger, stronger, more resilient. But like being so you can't walk up the stairs or you're limping around, you can't get up off the toilet, that's too much. But I go into this in full depth, by the way, and also, like, should I train when I'm sick? Should I train when I'm tired? Should I train when I'm sore? I go through a full deep dive on that in the podcast. Check that out. The next question we had was, let me start that so I can get back to her. Cortisone shots. Any suggestions with plantar fasciitis issues? So check out the video I just did of top 10 mobility drills. The first one is the plantar fascia foot roll with either a single lacrosse ball or a double lacrosse ball to get all those tissue and just pressing your body weight into it. Check that one out. Also doing, frankly, more barefoot training, but not the high impact barefoot training, squats, lunges, bear crawls, getting the mobility through the feet and the toes, creating a more stable arc is critical, and incorporating some barefoot training. I just did a barefoot training episode for the podcast that I posted today. Check it out. I talk about what shoe wear. If you're going to wear shoes, the best shoe wear that I'd recommend for cross training. And so there's more on that as well, but definitely the plantar fascia foot roll. And again, there's a limit to what I can recommend as just a fitness guy. You've got to default to a physical therapist or a medical professional, or ideally a podiatrist for distinct foot issues. Here's the other one. Jason says, Jason Coffee, what's up, buddy? And it says, okay. Great work, love yourself, please keep it up. 2 quick ones. My arms are developing about as fast as your wife's, not so fast. I'm currently working them out 3 to 4 times a week. I mean, like doing arm days Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Is that the wrong approach? Too much? I think I'm getting plenty of heavy lifting, not to failure, not killing myself, but they're very solid workouts. What is a good arm day warm-up? Also, what's a good quick warm-up to get those arms going? I love, I'll answer your last one quick. Good warm-ups are always specific to the moves to come. So, if you doing a set of, 10 reps at 50%, then 75% of the working load, and then getting into it is great. I also like bands. Bands are just a great way to get a lot of pump and blood into the area that are very low impact on the joints. So that's one, especially people that have junky elbows, sometimes doing like 50 to 100 tricep pushdowns with a band to warm up in as few sets as possible, like 30 reps, 25, 20, minimal rest between sets. Just sending blood to the area and lubricating the joints. Great way to do it. And you do the same thing with band bicep or hammer curls. Those are great warm-ups. I love those. Century sets, classic pump and burn starter finisher. The 3 to 4 workouts for your arms a week is probably overkill. 2 upper body workouts a week to me is like the perfect thing, because and then doing a mix of the compound multi-joint and also the isolated movements. So you can't just, if you want to max out your arm growth, and we know this through the research, you have to do some isolated bicep and tricep work, because those smaller muscle groups, you want to do your dips, you want to do your presses, you want to do your pull-ups, your rows, but your bench presses, whatever, close grip, great for the triceps, but the bigger muscles are always, going to be super involved. And if the arms are a weakness, you've got to directly work those areas. So it's not enough just to do the isolated, the compounds. You got to do some of the isolation stuff. So my recommendation is do some heavier work with some compounds in a 6 to 8 rep range to start. Like weighted dips, close grip presses for the triceps, heavy chin ups in a 6 to 8, maybe as low as 4 to 6. Good examples of just great to stimulate the biceps, even heavy barbell curls, and then do some medium to higher rep work of isolated movements like tricep extensions, push downs, bicep curls, hammer curls, reverse curls. But and we have some great arm workouts in Gorilla Corn Gains too. It's difficult for me I have some arm workouts on the channel too. Just search arms at YouTube and you'll get some options there too. But again, like the Tdbj is not for muscle gain. Muscle gain can happen, but it's not the goal. We don't do dedicated. There's some curls and some other stuff like that in there, but that's not the main focus of the program. It's more general fitness. All right, so let me see, final one here. Maybe I'll do Jason, by the way, send me a voice message on Anchor to my podcast, and I'll do a podcast on it if you want. Someone's posting second pro timers for the workouts. I'm not exactly sure how I would even do that. Joel Feldman was asking that. You'd have to specify. I don't even know. I don't use Seconds Pro. I use Tabata Pro. But I don't even know how I would do that. So I think that's it, guys. Is there any more? Thank you, Carlos. Evo is asking, how does it get rusty? I mean, there's some rust on the stuff here, for sure. But what I do is I have a thing called fluid film. Go to gardenofgains.com with a Z, and I have a link to that as well. And fluid film is just a rust protectant that I put in all the equipment, and it's done really well on most of the stuff. Like, most of the stuff hasn't rusted much, and we live right across from the Pacific Ocean. So there's a lot of oxidation that would happen, and it hasn't happened, so it's a credit to the product. But there's certainly some stuff that has rusted a bit, and that's just, there's a natural wear and tear that I would expect to happen out here. And then my really precious stuff I have in my garage, so there's coverage. Actually, I train mostly in my garage at this point. Warm-ups, Martin, search lower body warm-ups on my YouTube channel. I posted that before. Most of my warm-ups for my leg days are related to the movements that I do. Actually, I posted recently 6 ways to master split squats. It's within the last month or two. Check it out. And those are mostly what I do for my leg stuff, because my main focus because I've had knee issues, and I really want to work and develop my lower quads, which are inherently weak because of those knee issues. Those are 6 drills. There's like 5 or 6 drills that I incorporate into my warm-up. Like I warm up for about 20 minutes through those drills before I do my main leg day workouts in Gorilla Corn Gains. So that's actually posted. And really just, it's a series of, split squatting and corrective drills related to improving the ability to get the knee forward, ankle mobility, lower quad development, hip and glute activation, and the positions that I'm about to work. The best mobility and warm-ups get you prepared in positions that resemble the work about to come. See here. Chris Warren, 2-0, man. How about that punter? I talked about him today on my podcast, how this looks like a 10-6 team, that would be a 6-10 team without the punter. The punter won the first 2 games because of field position, and I'm a huge advocate of that because there's 3 to 6 points on the table every game based on field position. Because if a good punter can give you 10 plus yards on every punt, there's 2 times in a game at least that a team would be in field goal position had those punts not been as good, and we're talking 3 to 6 points that determine the parity in any NFL season. So I'm pumped. I think the offense obviously can only get better. It's been brutal. The D is much better, but I'm still not convinced. But I'm convinced about the punter, and he's been clutch. He's had big punts towards the end of games in pressure situations. So to me, we're on the right track. Oh, you said Mario says Cowboys. Yeah, I think it's at this point I would say it's going to be Cowboys and Rams in the NFC Championship, unless Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense figure it out. Then I think we can work in the middle. Matthew, I'm sorry. I did play. If you listen on Anchor, I played the song "The Bears Still Suck" on the podcast today. So I'm sorry. I know you thought it was going to be your season, but. And the good news is, for us at least, you got to come to Lambeau next because we beat you in your fucking place. And you only scored 3 points. And look, I don't like to talk shit about people, but Trubisky is, he's okay. But, there's levels to this shit. Julian, thank you so much, man. How do I really reevaluate my goals? My main goals at this point is just to look good enough that people still want to watch me and buy shorts from me. And really just don't get injured, diversify, and keep developing skills that make me more well-rounded as a trainee and as a trainer, so I can keep giving more fun, creative ways to get you guys moving. And weaknesses, really, at this point. That's my main way I evaluate. I've always been more compliance anyway. I want to get at least 4 rigorous workouts in a week, stay on top of my daily mobility. So compliance is way important to me at this point than performance. And I've gone into maintenance mode with some stuff while I just really try to round out myself and fill in some of these gaps that I've accumulated over the years. So, yeah, man, I'm not like super into it in that way. Like to me, it's just about getting it done. And really the reason I do it is because I want to be able to eat some great fucking food on the weekend and not become morbidly obese. That's my main motivation. It's always been. Some people don't believe me, but like, look at my stories on Instagram on Fridays and Saturdays, and now you know, okay, he is a fat fuck. Okay, like he's actually from a cheesehead from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I get it. This kid grew up fat. He's just a fat guy faking it as a fit guy. You think the Vikings are going to win? We'll see. The Packers got lucky on Sunday. Let me put it that way. So I'm not feeling confident about going to well, it's not the Metrodome anymore, is it? Yeah. So I'm not going to talk too much shit about the Vikings yet. But the Bears, get the point. Come on. Come back to me when you got something to talk about. Though Khalil Mack, that boy can play. All right, guys. This is getting maybe too long. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And please go check out my podcast if you haven't. iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you listen to it. The Weekly BJ Podcast. 83 episodes and counting. Content's been fire lately. I think you'll enjoy it. Subscribe. A 5-star rating and review is appreciated. We'll see you next time.